Hi friends, in this video I want to show you classical game between Boris Gelfand and Hikaru Nakamura in King's Indian Defense, and maybe it is one of the most popular game in this sharp and interesting opening. Okay, let's go. Let me show you this game. So d4, knight f6, c4, g6, and then after knight c3, bishop g7, e4 and d6, we can see classical King's Indian Defense position. The knight f3 castle, bishop e2, e5, castle knight c6, d5, knight e7, and of course in this position black wants to attack on the king side, otherwise white wants to attack on the queen side. And standard idea for black is to play f5. That's why knight goes back to e8, knight d7 also possible move, and then f5. So c5, knight f6, f3, f4, knight c4, g5, and Hikaru moves his pawn, and of course he wants to play g4 at some moment. a4, knight g6, bishop a3, and rook f7, also standard move, and black either saw some kind of threat of the queen side and cleared the f8 field for the bishop, or they wanted to rearrange their pieces. So idea is to play bishop f8, and maybe rook can go to h7 or g7 in some moment. Okay, b5, take on c5, take on c5, and h5, because he wants to play g4. a5, g4, b6, g3, king h1, prophylactic move, maybe not the best, but also possible. Bishop f8, d6, good move by white. A takes b, bishop g1, also very solid and very important move for white. King h4, rook e1, and in this moment Nakamura decided to open white's position with a brilliant move, with sacrifice, knight g2. And of course this moment very important in the whole game, and the best move for white is simply take on g2. And yes, in this position black has very strong attack and some possible strong moves like take on h4, bishop g7 with the check and so on, but position is also solid for white. Of course king is vulnerable, but we cannot checkmate in a few moves. But Gelfand decided to play on the queen side, and also he wants to exchange queens after d takes c7, but d takes c7 was a big blunder, and let me show you why. In this position very strong move for Nakamura is knight e1, and the idea is that after queen d8 or pawn to d8 and g2 is a checkmate. That's why white cannot take on d8, and they should take on e8, on e1, but then g2, in g2, rook g7, king h1, and then another queen sacrifice, bishop h3, and of course if take on d8, then bishop g2, also checkmated one move. That's why bishop f1, only one good way to defense for white in this moment, and then another queen sacrifice, and I like this move so much, queen d3. So black leaves his queen under attack for 3 moves in a row, but still fails to defeat him. And I think you already know why. Yes, our idea is to checkmate on g2 if white took on d3. That's why knight e5, and then simply bishop f1. Of course bishop g2 is the main threat. Queen f1, queen c3, rook c1, queen e5, c8 with the queen, but then take on c8, take on c8, and simply queen e6. And black has an extra piece, and of course in this position Gelfand decided to resign, because simply extra knight, and of course completely winning position for black. So very strong attack by black, by Hikaru Nakamura, and maybe one of the best and famous game by him in King's Indian Defense.